I buried my wife on a Tuesday. The October rain fell so hard that day, it felt like the sky itself was crying. Rachel had been my partner for 38 years. 38 years of building a life together, raising our daughter Emily, creating memories in the home we'd saved for decades to buy. Emily held my hand at the graveside, my only child. She was 34 then, married to a man named Derek for 6 years. They lived 2 states away in Arizona, had good jobs, a nice condo. We talked maybe once a month, saw each other on holidays. That was fine. That was normal. Kids grow up, build their own lives. But that day, standing in the rain, she squeezed my hand tight and whispered, "Dad, you shouldn't be alone right now. Derek and I are staying for a while." I should have seen it then. The way Derek's eyes flickered to our 3-bedroom house when we pulled up. The way he asked about the property taxes, the neighborhood. But I was drowning in grief, grasping for any lifeline, and my daughter's presence felt like oxygen. The first week, they were perfect. Emily cooked my favorite meals, sat with me in the evenings, helped me sort through Rachel's things. Derek was polite, helpful, fixing the leaky faucet in the guest bathroom, mowing the lawn I'd been neglecting. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how wrong I'd been to worry that Emily had grown distant over the years. "Dad," Emily said one night, about 10 days in, "Derek and I have been talking. What if we stayed longer? You need support right now, and honestly, we could use a break from Arizona. Derek's between contracts, and I can work remotely." I said yes. Of course I said yes. The house felt so empty, with just me rattling around in it. They moved their things in gradually. First a few suitcases, then boxes. Then Derek's gaming setup, Emily's home office equipment. Within 3 weeks, they'd taken over the master bedroom.
"It's bigger, Dad, and you're in the guest room anyway, since Mom."
Emily's voice had cracked when she said it, and I'd felt guilty for even hesitating. By week 4, the bills started coming to the house addressed to them. Emily's car insurance, Derek's credit card statements. I didn't say anything. They were family. This was temporary. But then I noticed my wallet felt lighter. I keep my wallet on the entry table by the front door, same place for 20 years. One Thursday morning, I counted the cash before heading to the hardware store. I had 3 20s and a 10. $70. When I got home 2 hours later, I had bought $17 worth of supplies. I should have had $53 left. I had 33. I stood there in my own entryway, counting and recounting. A 20 was gone. I checked my receipt, checked my pockets, checked the car. Nothing. "Must be getting old," I muttered to myself, but something cold settled in my stomach. 3 days later, another 20 vanished. This time I was certain. I'd counted that morning specifically, written the amount on a sticky note that I kept in my bedroom. $80 before breakfast, 60 after. I didn't want to believe it. I made excuses. Maybe I'd bought coffee and forgotten. Maybe I'd given money to the kid collecting for charity on the corner. Maybe grief was making me confused, forgetful. But I started noticing other things. The bottle of Rachel's prescription pain medication from her final weeks was in the bathroom cabinet. I'd kept it, unable to throw it away yet. One evening, I found it in a different spot, pushed to the back instead of the front where I'd left it. I counted the pills. There had been 37. Now, there were 31. Emily had complained of back pain a few days earlier. She'd been my daughter for 34 years. I knew when she was lying, and she'd been lying. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. Derek spent his days on the couch, on his phone, occasionally on his laptop, claiming he was looking for contracts. But I never saw him make calls, send resumes, have interviews. Emily worked, but she'd get off her laptop by noon, spend the rest of the day scrolling through her phone, or disappearing with Derek to their room. Neither of them offered to pay for groceries, or utilities, or anything. One morning in early November, I got up earlier than usual, around 5:30. Couldn't sleep. Grief does that. I made coffee and sat in the kitchen, watching the sun come up through the window. That's when I heard it. A creak. The cabinet above the refrigerator. The one where Rachel and I kept important documents, birth certificates, insurance papers, the deed to the house. It creaks when you open it, a specific sound. I'd been meaning to oil those hinges for 3 years. I stayed silent, listening. I heard papers rustling.
Then the creak again as the cabinet closed. Footsteps padding away back upstairs. I waited 15 minutes, then checked. Everything looked normal, but I knew our filing system. Rachel had been meticulous. The deed to the house was in a blue folder, always positioned on the right side. It was on the left. Someone had been looking at it. My hands started shaking. I made myself put everything back exactly as I'd found it. Then I went to my bedroom, closed the door, and sat on the edge of the bed that Rachel and I had shared for 38 years. My daughter. My little girl. The one I taught to ride a bike, walked down the aisle, helped through her college struggles. She was looking at my house deed at 5:30 in the morning. I wanted to confront her right then, storm upstairs and demand answers. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the investigator instinct from my 30 years as an insurance fraud examiner. Maybe it was just the sick certainty that if I was right, I needed to be sure, really sure. So I started documenting. I counted my cash every morning and evening, wrote it down. Over the next week, $80 more disappeared in 20s. I started marking the bills with a tiny pencil dot in the corner. When I checked Emily's purse one day while she was in the shower, there they were, my marked $20 bills. I checked the deed again. Someone had photographed it. I knew because I'd placed a single hair across the folder. Rachel had taught me that trick when she suspected a coworker of snooping in her desk. The hair was gone. Then came the phone call I wasn't supposed to hear. It was a Saturday afternoon. Emily and Derek had gone to the store, or so they said. But Emily had forgotten her phone on the kitchen counter. It rang. I glanced at the screen out of habit. Arizona Estates Realty. I don't know what possessed me, but I answered. Hello?
Oh, hi.
Is this Emily Morrison? I'm calling about the property listing inquiry you submitted online. The 4-bedroom Victorian in Connecticut? My blood turned to ice. I'm sorry, I managed. Wrong number. My daughter must have made a mistake. I hung up. My 4-bedroom Victorian. The house Rachel and I bought in 1989. The house where we'd raised Emily. She was inquiring about listing it. For sale. I sat down before my legs gave out. The kitchen spun around me. My daughter was planning to sell my house, while I was still living in it. That evening, I pretended everything was normal. We had dinner. Derek talked about a potential contract in California. Emily mentioned how nice the weather was in Arizona this time of year, how maybe I'd like to visit after the holidays. I smiled, nodded, felt like I was watching them from underwater. After they went to bed, I stood in my dark kitchen and did something I'm not proud of. I listened at the bottom of the stairs.
The house is old. The vents carry sound. Their bedroom is right above the living room. Can't wait forever, Em. The housing market is perfect right now. Derek's voice. I know, but we have to be careful. He's not incompetent. We can't just... Your mom left everything to him. He's got the house, the savings, the life insurance payout, and he's just sitting on it. He's my dad, Derek. He's old, Emily. Face it. He can't maintain this place. He's got to be lonely as hell. We'd be doing him a favor, getting him into one of those communities. I don't know. Look, we've been here 2 months. We've been patient, but we're drowning in credit card debt, and this house is worth at least $600,000. Once we get him to sign power of attorney, we can... I stopped listening. I couldn't hear anymore. I walked outside into the November cold, stood in the backyard where Rachel and I used to have coffee on Sunday mornings, and I cried for the first time since the funeral. Not for Rachel this time. For Emily. For the daughter I thought I knew. For the reality that grief hadn't made me paranoid. It had made me vulnerable, and my own child had seen an opportunity. I went back inside, went to my bedroom, sat in the dark until dawn. Then I made a decision. At 7 a.m., I called Bill Harrison. Bill and I had worked together for 25 years in the fraud investigation unit. He'd retired 2 years before me, moved upstate, but we'd stayed in touch. Fishing trips twice a year, Christmas cards. The kind of friend who picks up on the first ring and knows when something's wrong just from your voice. John, what's going on? I told him everything, every detail. When I finished, there was a long silence. John, I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I need help, Bill. Legal help. Someone who knows elder law, estate planning. I know someone. Margaret Chen, she's the best. Tough as nails, doesn't mess around. You want me to call her? Please. Can you meet this week? No, I said, watching Emily's shadow pass by my bedroom door. I need to meet her today. Right now. Bill called back 30 minutes later. Margaret Chen had a lunch opening at 1 p.m. She'd meet me at a cafe downtown, neutral territory. I told Emily and Derek I had a doctor's appointment, follow-up from the funeral stress. They barely looked up from their phones. Margaret Chen was in her mid-40s, sharp gray suit, sharper eyes. She listened to my story without interrupting, taking notes on the yellow legal pad. When I finished, she sat back. Mr. Morrison, I'm going to be direct. You're in a dangerous position. If they convince you to sign power of attorney while you're emotionally vulnerable, or if they claim you're incompetent, they could legally control all your assets. The fact that they're already living in your house strengthens their position for claiming residency rights. What can I do? Several things. First, change all your passwords, banking information. Second, I'd recommend a living trust. You transfer your assets into the trust, name yourself as trustee. That way, even with power of attorney, they can't touch it. Third, and most importantly, you need to establish your competence on record. Sign documents now while you're clearly of sound mind. How fast can we do this? She checked her watch. My associate can have documents ready by 6 p.m. today. We can meet at my office, get everything notarized tonight. But Mr. Morrison, I have to ask, this is your daughter. Are you absolutely certain? I thought about the marked $20 bills, the stolen medication, the overheard phone call, the real estate inquiry. I'm certain. Then let's make sure you're protected. At 6:30 that evening, I sat in Margaret Chen's office on the 8th floor of a downtown building. Her associate, a young woman named Jennifer Park, had prepared a complete living trust document. Margaret walked me through every page. This transfers all your assets, the house, your savings, your investments, into the Morrison Family Trust. You are the sole trustee. Upon your death, the trust distributes according to your wishes, which we can detail later. But while you're alive, you maintain complete control. No one can claim power of attorney over trust assets. And the house? The deed will be transferred to the trust. As trustee, you still own it, live in it, control it. But legally, it's no longer in your personal name.
If anyone tries to forge documents or manipulate you into signing something, it won't matter. The house belongs to the trust. I signed everything. We had it notarized by a notary public who worked in the building, took copies, filed originals in Margaret's office safe. At 7:45 p.m., I walked out of that office feeling like I could breathe for the first time in weeks. When I got home, Emily was making dinner.
How was the doctor, Dad?
Fine, just fine. Everything checked out. She smiled. Derek was on the couch with his laptop. I wondered what he was really looking at. Probably real estate listings, calculating his future profit. I went to bed early, claiming exhaustion. The next morning, Sunday, I woke up to raised voices downstairs. Don't understand. The deed has to be here. Maybe he moved it. Check his room. I got dressed quickly, quietly. Opened my bedroom door just as Emily reached the top of the stairs. Dad, you're awake. We were looking for something. The deed to the house? I kept my voice level, calm. Her face went pale. No, why would you? I heard you last night. Not last night, the night before. You and Derek talking about the house. About getting power of attorney. About not waiting forever. Dad, you don't understand. We're worried about you. This house is too much. You're all alone. We just want to help.
By selling my house? By taking my money? By stealing from me?
Derek appeared at the bottom of the stairs. John, you're upset. Let's talk about this rationally. Rationally? I descended the stairs slowly, deliberately. Let's talk rationally about the $200 you took from my wallet over the past month. About the pills you stole from the medicine cabinet. About the real estate agent who called Emily's phone asking about listing my house. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Dad, please. We're in debt. Bad debt. Derek lost his job 4 months ago, not between contracts. We're about to lose everything. When Mom died, we thought maybe you'd help us. You have so much, and you're all alone, and you decided to take it? The betrayal hit me fresh, sharp as a knife. I would have helped you, Emily, if you'd asked, if you'd been honest. I would have given you money. I would have done anything for you. You're my daughter. Then help us now, Derek said, stepping closer. Let us stay. Let us help you manage things. You don't need this big house. We could sell it, split the money, get you a nice apartment somewhere. Get out. Silence. What? Emily whispered. Get out of my house. Both of you. Now. Dad, please, you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. Clearer than I have in months. You saw your mother die and your father grieve, and you saw an opportunity. You moved in here not to help me, but to position yourselves, to steal from me, to manipulate me. I pulled out my phone, showed them the photographs I'd taken, the marked bills in Emily's purse, the deed moved in the cabinet, the call log from Arizona Estates Realty. I've already transferred the house into a living trust. The deed is no longer in my name. You can't sell it. You can't claim it. You can't touch it. I've changed all my bank passwords, informed my financial advisor of the situation.
I've documented everything you've done. Derek's face went red. You old bastard. We've spent 2 months taking care of you, and this is how. You've spent 2 months stealing from me and planning to rob me of my home. There's a difference. Emily was crying now, real sobs.
Dad, please. We made a mistake. We're desperate. We need help. You're my father. You can't just throw us out.
And there it was. The manipulation. The guilt. The assumption that blood meant she could betray me and I'd still protect her. I can. And I am. You have 2 hours to pack your things and leave. If you're not gone, I'm calling the police and showing them evidence of theft. You'd do that to your own daughter? Derek snarled. You'd steal from your own father-in-law? I shot back. They left in 90 minutes. I stood at the window and watched them load their car, Emily crying, Derek slamming the trunk with furious force. She turned back once, looked at the house. Our eyes met through the window. I didn't wave. The car pulled away. I sat down in the empty house. My house. Safe now. Protected now. But hollow. That was 3 weeks ago. Emily has called twice. I didn't answer. She's sent texts, long ones, apologizing, explaining, begging. I haven't responded. Derek's parents called once, angry, accusing me of abandoning my daughter in her time of need. I hung up. Bill checks on me every few days. Margaret Chen called once to make sure everything was settled. It is. Legally, at least. But every morning, I wake up in this house that Rachel and I built a life in, and I'm alone. Not just without Rachel now. Without Emily, too. My only child. People keep telling me I did the right thing, that I had to protect myself, that Emily made her choice, showed her true colors, proved who she really was. Maybe they're right. But she's still my daughter. I still remember teaching her to swim in the community pool when she was 5. Still remember her college graduation, how proud she looked. Still remember her wedding day, how she hugged me and said, "I love you, Dad. I'll always be your little girl." I protected myself. I did what I had to do, and I'd do it again, because the alternative was losing everything Rachel and I worked for, becoming a victim in my own home. But sometimes, in the quiet evening hours, I wonder if there was another way, if I could have helped them differently, if I failed as a father somewhere along the line. Then I remember the real estate inquiry, the stolen money, the overheard conversation, and I know I made the only choice I could. My daughter thought I didn't know what she was doing. She thought grief had made me weak, vulnerable, easy to manipulate. She was wrong. But being right doesn't make the house feel any less empty. I thought burying my wife was the hardest thing I'd ever have to do. I was wrong about that, too. Sometimes the people you love most are the ones who hurt you worst. And sometimes protecting yourself means letting them go, even if it costs you everything else.